Hey, welcome back to Frank's Model Works. I'm Frank. It's true. I mean, it's a big deal. It's not like YouTube's gonna come to my house and slap me around or something. Can they? They can't do that, can they? Well, even if they do, it's not my fault. Let's see, whose fault is it? I'm looking at them right now. Anyway, we're back on the 1969 Camaro from Revell. And I had originally planned to use either quarter round or half round for the fix on the molding that goes around the passenger side, front, and rear fender wells. It's been pointed out to me several times that the problem is in both spots. And in starting to work on the problem, what I've noticed is the quarter round and the half round isn't going to work. The quarter round is too much material and it doesn't conform well to the problem area. So instead, what I'm using is this HO scale 2x6, which is Evergreen product number 8206. Its dimensions are 0.022 by 0.066 inches or 0.56 by 1.68 millimeter for the masochists at home that want to cut this themselves. Have fun. All right, I'm gonna put you up there and show you what I've done so far. If I can't get the camera to focus, I actually took pictures of what I've done so far, which will be even less descriptive, because this entire endeavor is a nightmare. Get up there. Okay, so this is the body out of the latest issue of Revell's 1/25th scale 1969 Camaro. The one with the green Camaro SS on the box. And as discussed in previous episodes regarding this subject, there is a problem of either a short shot or a problem in the mold in the fender well here. So this is the passenger side, front, rear of the fender well. And there's also, it's starting to happen, but it's not as bad in the back passenger side fender well towards the front of the car. So I'll have pictures up. I initially trimmed off to make the actual, because what's happening is the trim that goes around the fender well is starting to like fade away into the panel itself on both the front and the back. So with that fade, you're losing the trim, and up here you're actually, it's not quite into the panel yet. I figured that out. But it's getting there, and it's getting there. If Revell doesn't do something, and this has gotten steadily worse from 2011. Each issue of the kit starting in 2011, and it was fully developed by the issue of the ZL1 issue of the kit that came out in 2013. So they might want to spend a little money on this mold, particularly since it's one of their most popular products. But what do I know? Anyway. So I cut square into the trim itself so that I could attach my styrene squarely, and it would be easier too. And I'm going to put up a picture now of how I cut before I glued these in place. Okay? I glued them in almost flush. Let's see, you can see it right there. Almost flush with the inside of the fender. Can you focus? Focus. And the same in the back. Let's see. Is that visible? Back there. And leaving some overhang in the front so that we have some meat to work with. And then it just makes it easier if you cut it a little long. It gives you something to hold on to while you glue it. And in order to glue this, I use Tamiya extra thin cement. Then I let it dry overnight. Should be fine. I got a little bit of, I got some boogers, you know, that I'm gonna have to work on up here in the where the plastic meets. But this is not gonna be, this is not just a, it's fixed in 5 minutes kind of thing. So we're gonna start the finessing and work on it until we have, hopefully, alleviated the problem, or at least made it not so drastic. All right, so hold on a second. I'm gonna get some tools together and I'll be right back. Okay, as it would turn out, the tools were right here all along. Oh, I've been looking for these scissors. There they are, right in front of my face. Excellent. Anyway, so I'm going back with my trusty God Hand SPN 120. Is that it? I don't know. One of these has a better. Oh wait, this is the one that I use. Is this the one that I? Yeah, this is the one. SPN 120. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna clip it flush just yet. I'm just gonna get it out of the way so that when I'm working in this area, I don't run into it, because I am kind of klutzy. So I'm not gonna clip it perfectly flush. I'm gonna leave a little bit there, and we'll come back to it and clean. I mean, ideally, the end goal is so that we have fender well openings that look like the driver's side. And that's, I should explain, I guess, that's what we're going for. Okay, so in order to accomplish that, now, before you like run headlong into just sanding it and trying to work it down, there's a piece of trim right here that will definitely be affected. And also, I would recommend against sanding this way, so horizontally along the body, because doing so would very easily stress the glue joint, and you could wind up just ripping the piece off, which I've done hundreds of times trying to fix stuff like this. So what I would recommend is a trusty file. And here's my big rubber block. Again, if you haven't watched other videos, this rubber block, you can get them at big box hardware stores. Amazon sells them. It's just basically a block of rubber that the intended purpose is to like clean sanding discs or belt sanders, but it works just as well with our stuff. So it's a good thing to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in from the bottom. I'm going to work my way very slowly and just try to get into like an even posture. This profile, this edge right here, I'm going to try to wear it down evenly so that I get the right taper and the right profile of this. There's no rush. There's no race. Not in a hurry. Because me especially, I don't know about you, but when I'm in a rush, that is when I mess up. And again, I'm using a file rather than a sanding stick for no other reason than it's thinner. I have more control. I can hold it like this. Now, resist the temptation to just try to snip your way down, because you'll have an uneven edge. And part of the reason why I'm doing this is that it makes it like an even cut. Said Frank is he goes right into the piece of trim he's trying to avoid. I'm not getting it that bad though. I haven't gone through the paint yet, but I will, because it's Frank. So I don't know if you guys like watching this kind of stuff, or if you want me to speed it up. But there's always the option of just speeding it up yourself and fast forwarding. So now there's also going to be minimal sanding on this edge to even that out. And when I first glued it on, I tried to add a little bit of extra glue and get it gloopy. That's a technical term. So that the styrene itself would form like a little bit of a bubble here, so that it would almost fill in whatever gap is going to be here. So, and we're gonna have to work this. Like I said, this is not gonna be a 5-minute fix, but we're gonna finesse it. We do what we got to do, and we're gonna get this fixed. And maybe, hopefully, Revell will, in their infinite wisdom, see fit to fix the mold. So now if we have to, in this dimension, we could also file. So what we're going to try to do is try to keep in mind, if my hands get in the way and you can't see what's going on. Oh, I just got called to dinner. I have got to remind my family to, when I am filming. Or at least not film around dinner time. So we're getting close. We're getting close. And there's also a bit of a taper in the molding, so that it tapers inward and meets almost at this point. There's almost little to no bulging out of the trim, as you see on this side. So we got to work that into our plans. So while the rest of you contemplate the magnificence of the Revell 1969 Camaro, and it really is a good kit, I'm going to pause here. I'm going to eat my dinner. We're having gyros. And I will come back. All right, so hold on a second. This is going to appear seamless to you, but to me, it's going to be about a half hour. Okay, Din Din was delectable. I am back. I like a good gyro. So, we're working this. I'll probably speed this part of the video up. Or maybe I'll make you suffer. I don't know yet. What we have to start, I started using a rat tail file, by the way. We have to start working this and shaping it towards the fender itself now, because we want to get the taper of the trim heading in. See, that's getting there. Starting to get there. And I haven't trimmed that off yet. I'll get to that. I'll probably do that last, actually. Well, maybe I'll do it now. I don't know. Another thing you could do to protect this little piece of trim is just put tape over it. You'll sand through the tape before you sand through the trim. If you notice you're sanding through the trim, through the tape, then take a step back and reevaluate your life choices. So the files that I'm using are out of the Tamiya basic file set. There are file sets that that are available. They're probably cheaper than these. I don't even think these were that expensive, but it's worth having files in your tools for building models. You need them. And this is just a matter of finessing, back and forth, and see how we're doing. So over here I haven't really done much, because I haven't even gone through the primer fully yet. But that's good. You don't want to take too much off at once. You don't want to gobble all this up. You want to make it so that nobody knows you did it. So, see, we're starting to get to a profile that's it's looking kind of acceptable. Make sure you don't wear any ridges into this, because then a term that I use often, then you're chasing it. You don't want to chase something. Occasionally I gotta look up and make sure that you can see what I'm doing. Now, another method that I've seen used, and I don't know if it's such a good idea. It's a little bit more complicated. Some guys call it hair of the dog. Rather than use like evergreen or plastruct, they'll use shavings or pieces that were cut out of the sprue that the kit came on. And I guess the reason why they call it hair of the dog is that it's the same polystyrene that the kit is made out of, so you're not going to have a materials differential. But if you want to do that, by all means, go for it. It sounds like a good idea. It's just I don't think I can replicate I can't shave out a piece of sprue that's going to look good. But I've heard that. I've heard of people doing that, and if it's something you want to try out, give it a shot. Let us know how you do. Right, so I think we're getting in the area where, let me bring this even. I'm sorry if that sound of the sanding is annoying. I apologize. But I'm doing this for you guys. I'm going to be doing this. Ooh, I almost did this. That would not be a good idea, because that could pull the piece of plastic right off. So how we look at now? I'm going to prime this, but I can tell that in there, like right up against it, I'm going to have a little bit of stuff that I'm going to be dealing with. Like there's a little glob right there. A little bit of roughness between the panel itself and the piece of evergreen. So I'm going to have to work on that. But you get the idea. Ultimately, I want to get this and demonstrate that fixing this problem is worth it. I think in the long run, people will feel better about fixing it. Oop, see? So now, let's pull that piece of tape off. So what happened was I just nicked the masking tape. So I'm gonna pull it off and move it over. I don't need to rip off a new piece, just need to move it over and make sure that I'm not gonna hit that. So now, if you'll notice, I'm starting to get a taper, so that I'm trying to taper this in towards the edge so that we can match the contour and the profile of the driver's side. And or at least good enough that where it's not a glaring thing. And I think depending on the trim level of a Camaro, this might get, I don't know if this gets chromed. I gotta look. Because I'm not building 69 Camaros this year. I kid. Okay, so I think I have the profile. The only thing I need to work now is this area in here between the fender and the trim itself. So how are we going to do that and not break anything? Try to do it like that. See, what's good about this file is this surface has a filing abrasive surface, and this surface is also, the edge is also a filing abrasive surface. Basically the same. So we could get in there, file it, get those little globs of plastic done. So I think I got the worst of it. And then let me get some, this is 1000 grit Tamiya sponge. Just get in here, and this isn't gonna really mess a lot of things up, but it's gonna put like it'll smooth over anything I put into this little piece of trim over here by scraping it. Stop sanding the rest of the body, Frank. We're not building a 69 Camaro. You also have to be careful over here. There's a script It says Camaro. To be honest with you, if I was building this kit, I would take this script off and I would buy the Model Car Garage photo etch set and replace the script. I should do a video on how I prepare the chrome scripts and stuff like that. I actually put them through a chroming process using chrome paint. Note to self, Frank, maybe make a video on that. Maybe get reminded of it 30 times in the comments by people who then never say another word again. Kind of how you wound up doing this. But helping out my friend Joe makes it worthwhile. And unfortunately, if Revell isn't gonna fix their mold, and you want yourself a nice 69 Camaro, because this really is the best 69 Camaro out there. It's better than the old 1/25th scale, 1/24th scale monogram, that's for sure. It's better than the MPC. So what I spy with my little eye, and see if you can see that also, if you look in right in there, there's like a little bit of yuck in there that is gonna have to be finessed. Yeah. So what might wind up happening? Let me see. One more swipe like that. And of course, this is just me trying to dig myself out of the hole that I dug for myself by when I squeezed up to try to make a little molten seam filler in here where the trim that's existing meets the polystyrene. I also created a little bubble over here that's harder to get. So what might wind up happening is might have to put a little bit of surfacer in there. Got to be careful though, because if I get in there and I get too aggressive at this edge, I'm pushing out and I might fold the styrene over, which is probably exactly what's going to happen if I keep it up. So let me hit this with some primer and see how we're looking. Primer, in this situation, primer will show me what more needs to be done. It'll actually do a little bit of filling, not a lot. It's, to me, a primer. It's not a high build primer. And worst case scenario, I might have to do a little more work. So hold on a second. Okay, so I went ahead and did the rear quarter panel as well. I'm going to prime it. I wrote high on it because, you know, there's trolls who are going to say that, oh, I just substituted another body. So I'm going to bring you over there and you can watch me spray it and watch these highs disappear. So there's the work that I did, you can see. And then I'll bring you back. Normally, I mean, don't get me wrong. Normally, I wouldn't care what a troll would say. It's just I want people to trust that the things that I'm trying to show them are sincere and genuine. So that's why I do that. Not that I care what trolls think. And I know who the trolls are. All right, let's set you up over there. Hold on. test your spray pattern off the model. Right? Good. I'm gonna bring you over there while this is wet, and we'll hit it with a hairdryer just to make things quicker and see how we did. Okay. You can hit lacquer with a hairdryer, speed things up a little. Okay, get up there. All right, so how did we do? Hi. Not too bad, actually. Let me see how we could do with the light. There's a little bit of like some dips in here that need to be finessed a little bit more. You can see them there. The rear is kind of the same, a little bit of a gap there. But in all, including dinner, this is less than an hour's worth of work. And that's with a half-hour dinner. So, oh, I might have actually sped up while I got called to dinner. So I got called to dinner in the middle of this, just so you know. But it doesn't look that bad. We got trim all the way around. You know, some Camaros, this is chromed. Others, it's not. So if you're going to put chrome trim around it, I mean, not for nothing. If you're going to go to the trouble of fix this, you might as well make it look good. When I build this kit itself, I will definitely try to really make this look better. Let me try to do something right now. I let you guys talk me into this stuff. But Frank, nobody talked you into anything. You shut up. There's a little lack of thinner. This is Mr. Surfacer 1000. You could decant a little bit of primer. You could. I wouldn't use putty. Putty probably would be overkill here. You might not be able to get it small enough. You're not looking to do super things here. Grab one of these little middle pallets. Mix that up. Okay, let's try to get in here. See? See that? That helped. We'll see how it looks when it dries, which should be relatively quick. I'm going to do the same thing in the back. Over here. Maybe put a little bit on there because there's a little bit of a, I don't know if you could see it. You're probably able to see it better than I can. There's a little bit of the gap right there. And these are all things that you just take your time You finesse them. And in the end, it's worth it because, although a lot of people might not notice, enough people have noticed that the problems in both the front and rear fender well. So I bet you if you display your models, there are folks that are checking to see if you fixed it, or if you used an earlier version of this kit that doesn't have this problem. All right. Now you're chasing it. All right. The front looks a lot better. And then that would just be a little bit of finesse. But that's about all I'm going to do as far as chasing this for now. I think I've provided anybody who wants to fix this issue with Revell's 1969 Camaro that was produced after from 2011 is when it started, and was fully developed in issues of this kit from 2013 on. So if you want to fix this problem, that's going to be how you go about it. And again, the Evergreen product that I used is Evergreen 8206. It's HO scale 2x6. And the dimensions are, if you're a glutton for punishment, 0.022 by 0.066 inches, or 0.56 by 1.68 millimeter. If you want to cut the styrene yourself, mill it yourself. So I am going to put you back on the tripod and talk to you one last time before we sign off on this little series of videos. All right, hold on. So I think that was kind of productive. This is probably going to be the last thing that I'm going to do as far as that problem with the 69 Camaro until I actually build the 69 Camaro. Should I do a battle of the pony cars? No! We're building Mustangs and a Porsche. Maybe 3. Porsche. Also, at Frizzo's Model Cars. Check it out. From now on, from this video forward, I'm going to be hiding a reference to Frankie Frizzo's channel or the hashtag I got Frizzo's back somewhere in my videos moving forward. So keep an eye out for them. If you see them, not this video because I'm making it kind of obvious, but in the future, if you see them, put it down in the comments. And also, if I do a shop card shout out, you ever watch like when Paul Rudd goes on a talk show and they want to play a clip from his latest movie, and he always brings that one clip from that movie Mac and Me? From now on, I'm going to do something kind of like that. Whenever I do a shop card shout out, one of the shop cards is always going to be Frizzo's. Just to cheer him up. Make him laugh. So, Joe's Model Building Corner. I hope this helps. For anybody who's been following along with this saga, I hope it helps. It's basically the groundwork is laid where you can figure out from here on out how to get it done. And do it. Don't go buying 2005 and 2006 issues of the kit just so you get a good body. Fix the ones that you get. It's not that hard. If I could do it, anybody could do it. And I was well on my way to completing it. I mean, I just probably had another a day of drying time and then another hour or so, hour and a half, and then mold line cleanup and on to paint. So give it a shot. That said, work continues on other projects, and we'll be keeping you up to date with those. As always, I appreciate your support as I rotate back and forth on my chair. And as always, my friends, until we speak again, take care of yourselves and be well.